sometimes we just need to hear it. Like when you keep doing the same thing and it's not working, something's got to shift. And so this is a powerful opportunity to step outside your business. This is what we're doing with SOS designers every single day, showing them a different perspective so that they stop feeling overwhelmed, so that they stop feeling insane, so that they're moving in the right direction and getting that growth.
Welcome to Thrive by Design, the podcast for ambitious, independent jewelry brands looking to profit from their products. Get ready to make more and sell more doing what you love without spending every single waking minute doing it. Hey, and if you're a creative, fashion, or product-based business, I want to welcome you to the show. I'll be dropping big tips on launching, growing, and scaling your business so you can spend more of your precious time using your creativity to make money. You ready? All right, let's do this.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 219. Hey there, it's Tracy Matthews, Chief Visionary Officer over at Flourish and Thrive Academy and Creatives Rule the World. And I just spent the morning writing a really fun email. I love writing. It's one of the ways that I get sort of in my creative zone of genius, which I think is really important for smart business owners to spend most of their time in, because when you're being creative, that's when you actually get into the groove or the zone or what they call flow state, where you're doing the things that actually move the needle in your business forward. And that's why taking time aside for your business is so important to continuing to grow. And I was working with a mentor. I was in a mastermind group for many, many years with my mentor, Ryan Levesque. And I was in it until he decided to discontinue the mastermind. And one of the things that I learned the power of at that time, as long as I was really focused on this, was the power of creating space for creativity. I don't know about you, but have you ever just tried to say like, oh, I need to design a collection, or I need to come up with some social media promotion ideas, or I need to write this thing, or I need to design something in Canva, or I need to do this or whatever, something creative that you had to do for your life or your business. And you're trying to sandwich it in between phone calls or appointments or something like that. And you feel like you got nothing done. And then you're just feeling creatively stifled and maybe just a little bit frustrated because you spent an hour doing nothing because you didn't get into that zone or that flow state of being really creative. Now, I want to talk about this today because I'm like riding on a high after our SOS Live Retreat here in New York City last week. I love getting groups of designers together and brands. It's one of the things that I think, number one, lights me up the most, but also I think is the most valuable thing that we ever do as a community here at Flourish and Thrive Academy and moving forward at Creatives Rule the World as well. And I say that because I can directly relate my biggest business growth in all times when I am being a part of a mastermind group, collaborating with other people on strategy and growth, and also creating space for myself to actually work on my business. And I know one of the biggest things that really become difficult when you're a solo business owner and you're trying to get your jewelry company or your business off the ground, whatever kind of business you have, and you just have a budget for you, basically, because you're scraping by doing all the things and you're ambitious and you want to make things happen. And at a certain point, you've done basically everything that you can do to grow. And so you get to this bottleneck phase where your business starts to plateau. Has anyone ever been in that state? You could just give me like a loud heck yes. If you're listening to this in your car, just scream out heck yes, or wherever you're listening, because I've been there so many times. And when you hit those places of a business plateau and you start becoming the bottleneck in your company, you really need to take a look from the outside in at what's going on. And sometimes that requires you hiring consultants or being in a group where you're coached and someone can give you feedback. Sometimes it's being in the power of a mastermind where you can get unstuck and have your peers actually like help you think of a situation in a different way or inspire new ideas. One of my favorite things that I've really focused on working on in my businesses is to allow the people that I work with to help contribute to the ideas. Now, I am probably the main driver of ideas for strategy and growth for my company. But over the last couple of years, because I'm doing so much, I become creatively drained at the moments when I'm not actually protecting my creativity. This is like the whole mission of why Creatives Rule the World even came about and why we launched our SOS program over at Flourish and Thrive Academy, because I saw the same thing happening with designers in our community. They were super smart, super ambitious. They wanted to get to a point where they're making multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars or even possibly passing that 7-figure marker, but they got stuck and they couldn't get out of it. And then they started feeling overwhelmed. They started feeling a little frustrated or desperate, and they weren't sure how to move forward. Have you ever felt like this? I'm asking because this is something that happens to most creative types. And if you can't acknowledge it and acknowledge that it's a sticking point for you and you probably are stuck and you need help getting out of it, then you will always be stuck and you'll always be frustrated. And then you'll get to that point where you start thinking to yourself, is this business even worth it? So I want to stop here just for a second. Like, have you ever felt any of those things? You're ambitious, you're motivated, you have high financial goals. Like you want to get to a place where you're doing a couple $100,000 a year, or maybe even like cross that 7-figure, $1 million marker in revenue, annual sales, but you don't really know how to get there because you're stuck. And you feel like there are no solutions except for working harder. Have you been there? Okay. If you have, I get it. And I get you. And that's why today's episode is all about my top 10 takeaways from our SOS retreat this last week. And there might be more than 10 because sometimes I pop a few in on the fly. But I love pulling out these takeaways because this retreat was a really special one. I presented my Creatives Rule the World talk to 50 designers in the room and another 50 who were attending virtually. And it was really impactful. Not only the difference that I saw in the energy of the creatives that were in the room, but also the difference in me actually sharing this message, because it is a really powerful one. And if you don't learn how to get back to that creative zone of genius that is actually going to help you grow your business, you will always be stuck. And so before I dive in, if any of what I've just said has sounded intriguing for you, I just wanted to give you a heads up that we have open enrollment for SOS, our signature program over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. It's our signature coaching program, I should say. This is really for ambitious designers who've already created some success in their business. So whether you've taken or laying the foundation program and you started moving forward and progressing and you're doing anything from $50,000 to $100,000 in revenue and you seem to be kind of stuck where you're at, or you're someone who really wants to build a lucrative side hustle and you're working a full-time job and you just need some help to move a lot faster because you're someone who wants to actually like work your full-time job and also make like 10 grand a month on the side. Nice life, right? We have a designer in our community, Wendy, who is doing this right now and are working in that direction. And I'm going to share a little soundbite from her in a moment. It's pretty incredible. She's an amazing designer. She's been in our community for a while. Or you're someone who's doing this full-time, you're head in, you're full bore ahead, you're already in like the 6-figure realm or close to it. And you really are stuck with what to do next to get to that next level. You know that investing in your business is important, but you're not really sure like how to do it or what to do and like how to really protect that energy. So as I mentioned, we're opening up enrollment for a very short period of time. We have space for 20 new applicants. And this is the perfect time to enroll to get you tight and right for the holiday season. We got big things coming up over the next few months in October, November, and December. And this is your opportunity to get in while the getting's good, to get support for your holiday promotions and to really start basically, converting sales, converting those people that basically those perfect clients and converting those into raving fans and being able to scale your sales because you're removing yourself from your actual business. So here's the deal. So if you're someone who wants to get on the phone with us, I'd love to invite you, especially if you're ready for help now. This is where the important piece happens. I'd love to invite you on an SOS exploration call with us. And we're going to just walk you through a little bit more about kind of where you are right now in business, what your big picture vision is, if we're looking 3 years from now, like what does that look like to you? And then we're going to talk about the roadblocks in actually getting you there right now. Then we're going to share with you if we think it's a good fit, how we can help you, and to discover if SOS is actually a good fit for you. We are helping designers do such amazing things. In fact, Twyla, who I interviewed 2 weeks ago on the podcast, has her mother passed away. If you didn't listen to it, listen to episode 217. Her mother passed away this year and her business has grown 43%. And her online sales have grown 10% this year, and she's already doing six figures. She's well on her way to do multiple six figures this year. So it's really, really excited. So if you're a jewelry brand who's making at least $40,000 and up, and you want to do six figures, multiple six figures or more, and you're ready now to start scaling your jewelry brand using our desired brand effect method, it's going to help you attract, connect, and convert and scale without requiring you to be the doer of all the things in your business. It actually also doesn't require you to invest basically a ton of money on hiring a huge team or anything like that. It's really about working on your business in the right way. Head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS, and you can scroll and see a little bit more about what SOS is all about. Basically, the program is a 3-year program with a 1-year commitment. I say that because coaching in a vacuum doesn't work. We know, we've seen the long game. We've had students in our program for over 2 years. Their businesses are scaling like crazy and amazing things are happening. A lot happens in 1 year, but we know that in the 3-year trajectory, that's when the magic happens. So we just require you to commit for a year to the program. It's individualized coaching, accountability, templates and tools, and strategic planning every single quarter to get you on track to help you make fast results. And then I teach you basically how to do this spending more time being creative, which is the best part about it. And there's a lot more involved. So instead of like rattling on and on about this, I'd love to invite you to apply over at flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS. And before I dive into today's takeaways, I just wanted to give you a little snippet from my girl, Wendy Hively of Charlie Madison Originals.
My name is Wendy Hively, and my business is Charlie Madison Originals, and I make bracelets that each have a meaning. Before I joined SOS, my business was a little bit all over the place. So I was looking for somebody who would be my mentor, who could show me how to do the things that I didn't know. And when I found SOS, I realized, hey, I could get a whole bunch of different mentors in one instead of just having to pick one that maybe knew a few things. So as a result of SOS, I have been able to get my finances in order so that I'm actually setting aside money for myself. I would never paid myself before. So now I'm paying myself. I've got taxes set aside. I've got profit set aside. And it feels really good to have it all under control. And I'm not just randomly spending money all the time. A big win since I've joined SOS is that I've been meeting my quarterly sales goals every quarter. I may not always meet every month, but I've always been meeting my goals or exceeding my goals every quarter. If someone's on the fence about joining SOS, it's been the best decision I made because it's just allowed me to be more of the CVO like Tracy talks about instead of just being a designer or just being a business owner. So if you're on the fence, it is an investment, but it's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your business, and you won't be sorry.
All right, let's dive into today's episode. I'm going to be talking about the top 10 takeaways from our SOS retreat here in New York City. And I know that you are going to love this. Here's the reason why. I know after years I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. My creativity has been the one thing that's helped me negotiate a better paying salary at my job, to become one of the top salespeople at Nordstrom when I was working there in my department, to negotiate, instead of a full-time position, a part-time freelance position that really helped supplement my income when I was in transition between starting a new company and closing down my first company. And it is the one thing that's helped me scale and grow 3 businesses all at the same time while really spending a lot of time being creative. And so I wanted to share this with you because this is a presentation, this framework for what we did at the workshop is basically going to change your life. And this is what we do every single quarter at Flourish and Thrive Academy in our SOS coaching program. So let's dive in. Takeaway number 1, creativity requires boundaries and discipline. And here's what I mean by this. Have you ever been one of those people who basically you're like, oh, I need to get this design done, or I need to work on some content for my social media, and you have like a 1-hour window and you're trying to squish it in. And you have like calls back to back or meetings or whatever it is. And you sit down and you try to come up with something and nothing comes. That's because you're probably not even getting into your creative flow state until maybe like 45 minutes in. And that's about the time when your timer goes off. And so if you're not doing task-oriented work, having space for creativity in business development is really important. And I require those to be basically in the same sentence, because Business development is creativity and creativity is business development. Because whether you're working on new designs or strategy for your company or growth or promotions or anything like that, both of them work hand in hand because they're the things that are making money. And so I really encourage you to spend 2 to 3 hours in a big block every single day working on creative strategy that's actually going to grow your business. And then consider when you can to start bringing creative days into the mix. So this is where takeaway number 2 comes in. And this is something I've been speaking about a lot in my keynote presentations when I'm speaking to other audiences. But also in our SOS program, I'm helping the designers structure these days. And the fastest way to growth in your business, this is takeaway number 2, is that one day a week that you spend on growing your business. And I call this day your creative days. Creative days are those days that you spend working on business strategy, new design, learning something new, expanding your horizons, doing something that gets you in that creative groove that inspires you, but is also moving the needle forward in your business. I cannot express the importance of this day. When I started implementing creative days in my business a couple of years ago, everything changed. And I can tell you, when I'm not adamant and committed to it and not doing them, basically what ends up happening is my sales start to suffer, my business start to suffer. I become a less effective leader and everything starts to suck. My emotional intelligence probably gets derailed, and also my creative intelligence gets derailed too. So I'll talk more about structuring creative days in future episodes, but I wanted to just talk a little bit about why it's so important now, because when you can block out that time just for yourself and to really spend on growing your business, a lot will shift and change for you. Takeaway number 3, without a strategic plan, you got nothing to shoot for. So one of the things that we work every single quarter on with our SOS coaching students is a strategic 90-day plan. And you might think you're planning, but if you're not following the plan and not being strategic about that plan, and you're not focused on getting it done, then you are doing yourself a huge disservice. And the reason why I say that is that if you can't figure out like your 3 core objectives for the quarter, what ends up happening is that as every week goes by, you're doing things that aren't actually focused on your goal or intention in your business. I see this happening to designers all the time. They know that they need to do promotions for the holiday season. They don't properly plan them out in advance. And then at the last minute, it's like the week before, they're like, oh, I should probably send an email teasing it and all this stuff. When you have a 90-day strategic plan, you can get your promotions intact. You can move big projects forward quickly, and you can have the space to actually plan that out in advance. And it really works because Jennifer Dawes, I just got off the phone with her last night. She's in our coaching program. For those of you who don't know Jennifer, she's a really successful designer. She's built her business, growing her brand in stores and with private clients, and also is starting to build a bigger audience online. And when she came to us, she really wanted to be able to scale her online sales because, her kids are getting older. She didn't want to travel as much to trade shows. And she's, I think, basically for the most part, has scrapped most of her live events except for trunk shows and her key stores. And she was just getting exhausted with not only with the investment in the multiple trade shows that she was doing, but the ROI, because she wasn't getting the same return on investment that she had in the past. And so she knew that moving in a direct-to-consumer model was the perfect direction for her. So she just redesigned her website. She's working out some tweaks right now. But when I spoke with her, she's like, wow, Tracy, SOS is intense, but it is exactly what I needed. And I'm getting so much done. And she's like, yeah, I just working that plan that you gave me. And it's so great. And it's exciting because it's so awesome to see the fruits of your labor when you are focused on exactly what needs to happen. So takeaway number 4. Plans are supported by mapping out a project plan with milestones to reach your goal. So when we're planning our strategic plans, we have you work on success metrics. So we want you to know exactly what does success look like along the way? What are the things that need to happen and be completed in order for you to be successful with whatever you're doing in your business? And so you need to actually create milestones and markers like month 1, month 2, month 3 in that 3-month or 90-day plan in order to know if you're actually successful and on track for success. And you can map this out in a project management tool like Asana or Asana. I always say it wrong. Or Trello, whichever floats your boat, but something that's actually going to keep you on track. For those of you who have more of a custom jewelry business, you can do a lot of project planning in HubSpot, which is the preferred CRM that we talk about for people who have a huge proportionate of custom or customization clients. It's best for high end. I'm just telling you that way because there's it's really for like high touch or you can't really do this in Klaviyo, which is the other email CRM that we recommend for more e-commerce brands. But a project management tool is going to help you keep those milestones and markers in track. Takeaway number 5. If you want recurring customers, you must rally community around your brand. I'm so excited because next week I have a very special guest, Chelsea Farmer. She's an SOS coach of ours. She spoke on this topic at SOS Live about building community around her brand. She drops a new design or a few new designs, and every Friday selling $40 products makes anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. It's pretty awesome. The girl is crushing it. And she's going to be sharing with us how she does that by building a community of raving fans and ambassadors around her brand. If you look at her, the girl has a 7-figure business. If you look at her on the outside, you probably wouldn't think that. But it's not really about what she's doing. Like if you look at her, basically like her Instagram followers, she doesn't have hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers to do this. She's really focusing around the community. And she does that in a very special way by using ambassadors and Facebook community to get people to just like share what they're doing and share her products. And it's pretty incredible what she's done. And so I'm not going to spill the beans on this, but if you really want to have urgency and people just basically like buying from you left and right, you have to rally community around your brand. And Chelsea's going to be walking us through this on the podcast next week. So make sure that you tune in. Takeaway number 6. Sorry. Whoops. Got messed up on my list. Sharing ideas leads to bigger and better ideas and outcomes. And here is what I mean by this. Every time we get together as a group at one of our SOS retreats, we have this exercise called a super share session. And during the super share sessions, I've been doing this for years in my mastermind group with Ryan. I was doing this with my coach Taki when I would go to his events through the past year. And then I also started doing this for our community several years ago. And super shares are just basically a way for you to share ideas or things that helped you make $1,000 or save $1,000. In my groups, it's always like to make $25,000 or save $25,000. But I wanted to meet the designers where they were. So it had to be at least $1,000 or more savings or making. And for some designers, it was tens of thousands. And for other people, it might have been something simple, but really targeted that worked so well. And when you share these ideas, it allows you to refine and get things better. So this all started back in the day with what is like the equivalent of our SOS coaching program, which was our mastermind program. One of our designers shared a strategy for doing Facebook Live sale. And every single time she would launch it, she would refine the process. And she started sharing with the members of the community of what she was doing. So her sales every single time, it would be like maybe the first time it was 2,000, the next time it was 4,000. Then she was doing 7,000 and more and more and more. And as we started to collaborate as a group, we began refining the process together. And many of the designers, like Lisa Lehman and Sarah D'Angelo, who's the one who originally brought this to the table, and now we're sharing this with all the designers in our SOS community and beyond. We're sharing the power of these Facebook Live sales, these events that they were having in real time on Facebook. And the designers were making thousands of dollars, but the collaborative effort and this super share that started back in the day with the seed idea collaborated and turned into something that has helped hundreds of designers have epic Facebook sales, Facebook Live events. And what I mean by that is using live video, using the events on your main page, or to have sales in groups that actually convert and get tons of revenue coming in to your business. So this is really awesome. I love every single time. I get really excited about it. Tip number 7, or takeaway number 7, masterminding peers with peers in a structured and curated setting will get you unstuck in lightning speed. So time over time over time, either in a virtual setting or in our in-person setting, our mastermind sessions have been the basically most groundbreaking and fun sessions that anyone ever has in our events. And here's the reason why. Oftentimes we're stuck in our business, and I mentioned this before, and we are thinking of solutions. And because we're solutions-oriented people, as creative thinkers, we have that gift and we're very lucky. In fact, anyone in the world can tap into this. It's just about being open to it and aware. Is that when you tap into it, sometimes your mind, because like other things in your situation and your experience, start to cloud possibilities. And so when you're able to mastermind a problem or an opportunity with a group of people, this gets like 6, 7, 8 brains on the same idea and helps you come up with so many more ways to get unstuck. And man, I got to tell you, this is crazy. I was walking around the room when we were doing the mastermind sessions and I was blown away by what people were doing and what was happening and what was coming out. The brilliant ideas that were coming out of these sessions that were actually helping the designers grow so much. So when you're able to get into a room, in a physical room with other people and mastermind together, your business is going to escalate and grow so fast. I honestly believe that this is masterminding is the singular in a curated environment. And I'm saying this because it always works so much better when you're masterminding with a group of peers that you trust over and over again. And it's organized by someone else and not you, because then there's skin in the game, usually, or always, I should say, because you're typically making an investment to have that group curated, and it will change your life. Big ideas have happened. My business has, like when I started in a mastermind group, I was doing a couple $100,000 a year, and now we're doing millions in revenue in my businesses, and millions, multiple millions. And I'm saying that because there was a time when I wasn't doing that. And I really attribute the scale and growth to that. And I attribute the scale and growth to the students that we're working with in the same fashion, in the same way. So I've just seen amazing things happen. And ask anyone, any of the members in our SOS coaching program, what they think about the mastermind sessions. And they will tell you it is their favorite thing. I bet you. Give me a heck yes if you're in SOS. I'm just joking. Tip number 8, or takeaway number 8. I don't know why I keep calling them tips. I guess it's just a habit. If you want to stop feeling overwhelmed, you need to set aside time to work on your business. This is really important. How many overwhelmed jewelrypreneurs are there out there? You feel frustrated by your business. You feel stuck. You feel like there's so many things to do. There's not enough hours in the day. You're working nights and weekends, and you can't get out of the vicious cycle. You can't figure it out. Well, this is because you're not spending time working on your business. You have to do this a lot. And being a part of a group is a great way to do this. Being disciplined with your time and spending 2 to 3 hours every single day working on your business, thinking of ideas, working on business development is a good way. But the best way is to pull yourself aside, learn something new, and focus on strategy. And the best way to do that really is in a group setting, because you learn so much in those settings. One of the things that I loved about this event, I think it was honestly the best event that we've ever put on, and they just keep getting better. Primarily because it was exactly what people needed to figure out how to be more creative, how to work on their business, and how to be strategic, and to take that time away from the day-to-day so that they could actually see a bigger picture vision and move towards that. Takeaway number 9, if you keep doing the same thing and expect different results, you might as well call yourself insane. So if you've heard this quote, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, one of the things that I heard someone say, I can't remember who it was. I wish I knew. I overheard this conversation. And someone said at the retreat, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. I keep trying to do it this way and it's not working for me. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times when we're in a vacuum and all these things lead together, it's like the masterminding and all the things. Sometimes, our experience is what clouds our vision of where we need to go. And if we are looking at things through a singular lens and we don't see a different way, it's hard to see possibility. And, I see this all the time with designers who are trying to grow their business, but they keep doing the same thing and it's not doing anything different. It's not helping them get to a different place in their business. And that's because they need to do something different if they want to grow, because what got you here is not what's going to get you there. We just had this discussion at my team meeting last week. I had my entire team in New York after the event, and I left some space in my recording schedule so that I could actually do pretty much a live update after the event so I could get this episode to you. And Jason on my team, he said, as a group, what got you here is not what's going to get you there. And the people that got you to where you are now are not what's going to get you to where you're going. And the entire team, was nodding in agreement. And, we've all heard that before. And I've said it even to you guys before. But sometimes we just need to hear it. And when you keep doing the same thing and it's not working, something's got to shift. And so this is a powerful opportunity to step outside your business. This is what we're doing with SOS designers every single day, is showing them a different perspective so that they stop feeling overwhelmed, so that they stop feeling insane, so that they're moving in the right direction and getting that growth. And then my final takeaway that I wanted to share with you is that growth doesn't happen in a vacuum. If you isolate yourself, you're going to continue to struggle. And One of the biggest mistakes that I made in business earlier in my career was to let my ego drive the business train. And here's what I mean by that. I needed help. And I was so embarrassed to ask for help because I had pride. And I was smart, or I am smart, I should say. Not that I was smart. I am smart. And I'm motivated and I have a passion to do a lot in my business and grow and all those things. However, I thought that needing help meant that you were weak and that you weren't good at business. Instead of really thinking that what it does mean is that you're smart when you ask for help, because it's clear that not everyone always has the answers. And like leaning on people who have a different perspective and or have been through that experience already is like the fastest way to getting to the next level. And so when you let your ego ride your business, and it looks a lot like being ashamed to ask for help, feeling like you can't afford things or afford to invest in your business, maybe is the best way to put it, because of your current experience. It might also look like you saying things along the lines of like, that won't work for me, or I've already tried that, or that's not my thing. Like there's so many ways that this manifests this, but it's really your ego driving. And what that does when you drive with your ego is you isolate yourself because you close everything off. You close your energy off to actually getting help and receiving. So I'd really like to encourage you to, number one, to ask for help if you really need it. To number two, if you want help from us, apply for our SOS coaching program now, especially if you're trying to hit that multiple 6 or even 7-figure marker. And also make sure that you're open to possibilities and open to feedback, because that's the thing that is going to shift your perspective and growth. So I loved this event and I was so excited. So really quickly, I'm going to recap these things. Creativity requires boundaries and discipline. The fastest way to growth is the 1 day a week that you spend growing your business, aka creative days. Without a plan, you have nothing to shoot for. You need that strategic plan in place. Plans are supported by mapping out a project plan with milestones to reach your goal. If you want recurring customers, you must rally community around your brand. Sharing ideas leads to bigger and better ideas and outcomes. And masterminding with your peers in a structured and curated setting will get you unstuck and lightning speed. If you want to stop feeling overwhelmed, you must set aside time to work on your business. If you keep doing that same thing over and over again and expect different results, you might as well call yourself insane. And finally, growth doesn't happen in a vacuum. If you isolate yourself, you're always going to struggle, and you're probably leading with your ego. Anyway, this was a fun episode for me. I loved doing it. And I just wanted to remind you that we are accepting 20 new members into our SOS coaching program at the moment. If you want to we've already had a ton of applications come in over the last week, and there's still some space. So if you want to get on that application train and join us to get support from us, to really escalate your sales and get to the next level and reach those multiple 6 and 7-figure goals that you have as an ambitious business owner with your, products or jewelry or whatever it is, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS. I will have the link in the show notes. You're going to see all the deliverables of the program, but really at the end of the day, this is a 3-year program with a 1-year commitment. You only need to say yes for a year. But I bet you're going to love it so much that you're going to want to stay with us the entire 3 years. And it's really designed to help you get unstuck with individualized coaching, accountability, proper project planning, strategic planning, and masterminding with your peers. And it's going to be awesome. Plus, we get to meet together in person twice a year at this moment. I'm thinking about adding more events next year, but the events are freaking amazing. You are going to love it. So head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS and let's do this. All right, guys, this is Tracy Matthews signing off. Thanks so much for listening today. Until next time, take care. I'm super pumped to help you grow your business and be more creative. Let's do this.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It's my mission to help thousands of creative businesses inside and outside the jewelry space use their creativity to make money. Make sure that you're subscribed to Thrive by Design on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever podcasts are played. And we'd love to hear what you think. Please rate and review the show. And if you're inspired, please share this with your friends. Cheers to seeing you flourish and thrive.